it comes to business, it's about the experience and it's about the culture that y'all set.
We going from like not just food, but like music, education, fitness, politics. Just like we trying to touch all the subjects in life that we feel like people need to know about and tap into in case they're not.
Instead of consuming all that content, let me teach you how to create it.
Our strategy is basically we have our backdrop, we have our tent. You know, you get to see us cook live on the hibachi grill, whether you're getting a pasta, hibachi, burger, or whatever we may be cooking.
I'm big on strategy and strategic planning. I think when you go through things where you lose money, or maybe you, for me, put on an event and it wasn't as successful, you know, I spent a lot of money, but I didn't get that back. When you have strategy, you can always go back to the table and say, okay, what was I supposed to learn? Because I don't believe in losses, I believe in lessons. So it was like, what do I need to learn from? What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Jazmin J, and we're here with Business Talks with Jasmine J. Y'all already know I like to talk all things strategy when it comes to business. The good, the bad, the ugly, the successes, the wins, the struggles, all the things. We like to keep it transparent and keep it real. So today I have some special guests here, all the way from Trap Culinary Kitchen. I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling today?
Hey, how you doing, Jasmine? My name is Ashton Long, CEO of Trap Culinary Kitchen, and I just want to thank you for having us on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Nick, COO of Trap Culinary Kitchen. Glad to be here. I just want to thank you for allowing us to be up here.
Of course, of course. So we're going to dive right into it. So before we start talking about all the things I want to talk about, let's just talk about Trap Culinary Kitchen. Where did the name come from? How long have y'all been doing it? And how did we get to this point so far? He say, Nick, it's on you.
Well, the name comes from something that we had, something that we was in the field and we was in the streets and we was trapping and doing whatever, whatnot. But the name is really a spinoff. So it's a spinoff for it's an acronym as well. It's transition, revolution, and progression.
Yes.
And basically we just trying to put a different spin on trap and let people know that you don't have to be doing what the original trap is, and you can still prosper and still do good things in your community.
I love that. I love that. You say transition?
Transition, revolution, and progression.
So tell me, why is that so important? Why is that so important to y'all?
It's important to us because it's something that we stand on. It's something that helped us, and it's something that we know that it'll be a big movement.
Yeah.
It's more than just the food. It's more than just the trap. You know, it's really a whole community thing. It's a whole revolution amongst our people, amongst the people that we inspire. You know, and
definitely. So with the name Trap Culinary Kitchen, do y'all ever get any negative connotation to it? I know that y'all are putting a spin on it, but you know how people are when they see certain things and how they make up their mind. How do y'all deal with that?
Well, we deal with it. You know, people gonna be who they are at the end of the day, but we deal with it because basically they automatically assume. They look at us, they automatically assume, oh yeah, y'all on some trap, y'all on some street, y'all on some thug, and then we just give it to them. Hey, this is an acronym. Hey, this is what we represent. This is what it's really about, and we just go from there. You know, people gonna have their opinions, but
yeah, for sure. So one thing I realized as I was doing my research and going through the Instagram, that the brand is way more than just food, which is something that you said. It's a movement specializing in everything from social architectural planning to pop-up shops. Y'all have built a pretty solid foundation on Instagram with a lot of support from the Houston hip hop community. Talk to me about that.
I just say, as far as like all the branches that we trying to touch, we going from like not just food, but like music, education, fitness, politics. Just like we trying to touch all the subjects in life that we feel like people need to know about and tap into in case they're not. So like really, that's what Trap Culinary Kitchen represents.
Definitely. And one thing I know from business is when you're building a brand, the success of the brand has a lot to do with who you are as a person. So they have to see it. You know, you kind of have to go through something yourself, transition within yourself before other people could buy in. So can you talk to me about that for y'all personally, what y'all transition was personally before you were able to really build this brand?
Well, me personally, I come from gang culture, drug dealing. I'm gonna just stop it right there. But like, yeah, man, we just come from the streets. We come from poverty. Just seeing people get killed at a young age, witnessing a lot of aggravated robbery because people feel like that's all we had to resort to. That's all they talking about in the music and hip hop.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying? First and foremost, it was just like me and my brother, we was raised in church. And that's really how the seed was planted from day one. You know what I'm saying? Even though we strayed out of church, it's like we got to that point in the streets and we knew better. It was like, bro, this shit gonna lead to a dead end.
Yeah.
So we gonna have to do something different. And we just prayed about it, and this is the option that God gave us. And so, like, as we continue this journey, it's just like it's ups and downs, but we stay faithful in what God got going for us.
For sure.
And like that's just what we on. So we just have to change everything, and we steady trying to change everything from the way, like where we hanging, who we talking to, what we talking about, what we listening to, like the food we eating. Like we got a lot of things coming. We even got something coming out called Trap Fit, Transition and Revolution and Progressing from Internal Tragedies.
Oh, wow.
Where we're gonna be connecting with psychologists and counselors and like personal trainers, and we're gonna be making meal preps, and they're gonna be selling them to like their clientele.
Okay, let's stop right there because that is just truly amazing. Because not only is that dealing with wellness and your physical, your physical being, but it's also dealing with trauma,
Right.
which is something that I don't think we address in our community. So, like, how did y'all get? What sparked that idea? What made y'all want to do that partnership?
What made us want to do that partnership because, we started out selling boudin balls and really a lot of unhealthy things. And that's really not where we was aiming for, to be unhealthy. We just wanted to serve the people some good food. And from there, we just, the knowledge that we got, just know that we got to switch it up, make it more nutritious, make it a better, well-balanced meal. And from there, we just switched over to basically doing something, going the healthier route.
Yeah, pick it.
Excuse me. Yeah, going the healthier route for what we was doing, for the influence that we had. We got the influence. They buying the food, so now it's time to go with the healthier route for the people and for the athletes and people that just want to stay in shape, just health as well.
Man, that's amazing stuff. Shout out to y'all. So let's talk about culinary meets culture and business, because I know y'all spoke about your background being from the streets and things like that, but the way that you're running the brand and your business is very structured, which I commend you guys, because I think as a community, sometimes we start doing things as a hobby and it just stays there. We never put the business structure to it to be able to expand and reach more people. So as we talk about that, I know community is a big thing. How important is the community to y'all, and how does the community support fuel y'all to keep going?
I have to say it's been we had a lot of DMs or a lot of people pull us to the side in public and just be like, man, bro, y'all really inspire me to start my business and keep going. It's like people who've been doing this way longer than us. And when they see our success, but like, we always keep ourselves humble and we give all glory to God before anything.
For sure. So when it comes to strategy, like I tell you, we always talk strategy. So I know y'all started the business, you start getting love. At what point did y'all sit down and say, okay, we need to put strategy to this. We need to see how we're gonna market this. What is our processes for cooking the food? What is our processes for the pop-up shops? Like, at what point did y'all decide, let's add strategy, and what was that experience like?
Well, we had strategy from the beginning.
Okay.
But what made it turn us up a little bit, make it a little bit more what we was leaning on being all the way legitimate and all the way more professional, was basically we got into a restaurant called 100 Grand. And from there, we had to basically run a complete restaurant
Yeah.
So that it helped us a lot, and we learned a lot from those experiences. And from there, it really just took off on the opportunities that we were gave, like with the pop-up shops. Like we were running a pop-up shop, but with restaurant criteria, at restaurant on a restaurant level,
Yeah.
basically a restaurant level. But we had pop-up shops working outside, and it was basically that it coached us up, trained us up for it to be how it is now.
I think that's an important part to talk about, being trained up and learning, because when it comes to business, sometimes people think we just wake up and it's success. You know, a lot of people don't talk about the struggle part of it, or where you made mistakes, lost money, you know, failed at something, and then had to come back and learn and be mentored by others. So do y'all have anybody that, you know, actually mentored y'all or took y'all under the wing and said, hey, this is how things should go?
I'm gonna say we don't have anybody who's took us in just yet, but we go through a lot of ups and downs. And us being in our 30s, we just know how to adapt and recover from the trial and errors that we face.
For sure. Okay. So what were some of the biggest challenges in scaling from a food concept to a whole brand? So like what were some of the challenges that y'all have had and had to overcome?
I would say just when business gets slow, it's like, and you prepping food, and you gotta waste a lot of money, throw a lot of stuff away, or give it away. And so we have to start learning. Like as you go through each year, you're gonna learn about seasons, like spring break. You got Christmas
Yep.
holidays. You got students. Like you got to learn the economy of business. You know what I'm saying? So like it's gonna take years to get on the smooth surface of what we really trying to do. So you know we in it for the long ride though.
Man, I love that you say that, because I'm like I told you before we cut on the cameras, I'm big on strategy and strategic planning. I think when you go through things where you lose money, or maybe you, for me, put on an event and it wasn't as successful, you know, I spent a lot of money, but I didn't get that back. When you have strategy, you can always go back to the table and say, okay, what was I supposed to learn? Because I don't believe in losses, I believe in lessons. So it was like, what do I need to learn from this experience and implement as we go forward? And I feel like that's something that y'all are continually doing, which is why y'all are having so much success. So shout out to y'all for sure.
I appreciate it.
So what's been the most unexpected lesson you learned as a business owner in the food industry?
I have to say, unexpected lesson is I say hiring people.
Woo.
I say like dealing with females that you know personally.
Yep.
I wouldn't go that route. I always try to implement professionalism and just really looking at people's resumes for the experience that they truly have, and not just trying to do a favor. Because when you go in favors, it's like you can walk into a slippery slope, and like we pretty much know how that can go.
Definitely. They need to rewind this and listen to that again, because that's a lot of mistake. That's a lot. That's a mistake that a lot of us make. You know, because who don't want to put on their people?
Right.
You know, who don't want to do that? But when it comes to business, it's about the experience, and it's about the culture that y'all set. You know, that's why I always tell people, when you're hiring a team, it's more than just bringing some people in. You have to train that team. You have to make sure that they're in alignment with your goals and what you're trying to do with your business. And you have to have SOPs, standard operating procedures. They need to know what can they do, what can't they do, what will get you fired, what will make you grow within the company. All of those things are important. So I know growing a team could be difficult, but where are you with that now?
Right now, we got my brother, we got brother Emmanuel, and we just got a solid three. Oh yeah, Mo, shout out Mo. It's four of us, and we've been rocking like for like almost 2 years, like as a team, outside of me and my brother.
Yeah.
But like pretty much, man, you know, all we need is a few good men who dedicated, hard working. And like I say, God gonna everything we lacking, He gonna make up for it,
Shout out to God.
for sure.
For sure. All right, Houston's hip hop community. I've seen massive support from them on. Okay, I've seen massive support from them on social media, with celebrities showing love and all of that. So, how did those connections come about?
Well, a lot of them came about because, like we said, we I do a little rapping.
You finna spit for us real quick?
No, not too
Okay,
much.
okay.
Well, yeah, I've done a little. I've done a little rapping and just basically the culture of the rap crew of the rappers is basically like the streets where we come from. So there's a lot of people we've been knowing them before we had our we've been knowing them before we had our business, and then basically they was just a lot of rappers like shout out to Ray Face. Ray Face, he seen what we had going on, and he gave us one of our first showcases to do a pop up at the Zaza Lounge, and it's basically they just seeing what we got going, and they like what we doing, and shit, been
It's
going
up from there, huh?
Yeah.
So, in what ways do you see food and music intersecting especially when it comes to Houston culture?
Oh man, it's always 'cause everybody love food, everybody love music.
For
I
sure.
believe.
I know for sure when I go to concerts, I'm trying to see who gonna be there. What food, what food is gonna be there. We do a lot of showcases here with artists. We support artists all the time here at the studio, and that's the main thing they want to know: who doing the food. I'm like, wait, we need to be focused on the showcase. But for sure, what about you? What do you think about music and food intersecting?
I think it's the bridge to getting the business, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of clubs and a lot of venues that don't have kitchens because kitchens cost a lot of money
Yes, they
to
do.
invest in. So like with the pop-up shop, that's like one of the incentives. Investing in a pop-up shop, it don't cost that much, like $2,000 to $3,000 to fully set up. And we like it. I like it better than a food truck, me personally, because we get to interact with the people and they get to see the sanitation around their food that's being prepared.
Definitely. And that takes me right into my next question, which was specifically about the pop-up shops and how that's a signature part of y'all's brand. What's the strategy behind using them as a business model?
Our strategy is basically we have our backdrop, we have our tent. You know, you get to see us cook live on the hibachi grill, whether you're getting a pasta, hibachi, burger, or whatever we may be cooking. And it's just a good visual, it's a good interaction, good politicking, and it's kind of like something that you would want to see, attraction
Yeah.
at that sort.
So what's been the most memorable event or pop-up experience y'all have had so far?
I have to say, New Year's at Splash House with Sauce Walker.
Oh, yeah, it was going down?
And everybody came through.
Yeah, shout out to TSL.
Yo, shout out to yourself, man.
So I mean, give me more. Like, what was it like? What
Basically,
was the...
we was there. Well, we was there for like a couple of days for the casting call, but we was there for the grand opening. And
Okay.
The grand opening, you know, a lot of people like to support Sauce, so a lot of celebrities came out, a lot of models, a lot of you know what I'm saying, some people that was considered somebody. Everybody was out, and we had a good night.
Shout out Vucci P too, who plugged us into this situation.
And I think that's a big part that we don't talk about in business is the relationships that we build, the people that we know and how they plug us in. You know, like just having those relationships, you get a call and it's like, okay, I got it. Just like this interview right here. I got a call and it was nothing. I was like, cool, let's make it happen. Let's look at the dates and let's do what we got to do. So I think that's a big part of business that in our culture, we don't really highlight that. We don't really give the proper dues to people who show us love and plug us in the rooms that we wouldn't be in otherwise.
Right.
For sure. So I like to call this like the thought leader segment because y'all are CEOs, CEO, and you say your position COO, but y'all are doing business, you know, and I think it's important to speak about that directly. So what's one common mistake that you think food entrepreneurs make when they're launching their business?
I might say not having a paperwork in order as far as just food handlers, bank accounts, credit, just, you know, the paperwork side. Because it's like I was taught before I got into business that you got hustling and you got business.
Yep.
We started off hustling, just getting some money, but when you really want to elevate and get into, I'm going to say, quote unquote, like the white people system, that's when you start going into having your paperwork ready, LLCs, you know what I'm saying? That's what we have.
Definitely. That's something It's almost like you talking my talk. That's definitely something that we don't do. You know, we don't set up our businesses properly. And so when your business isn't set up properly, it's hard to scale because say for instance, someone comes to a pop-up, they see what y'all doing, they ready to invest millions of dollars. First thing they're gonna want is your paperwork, your LLC, what's your budget, what's your projections and things like that. So I definitely believe that that is a common mistake that's not only made in the food industry, but across all different type of industries.
Right.
You want to add to that?
No, I don't want to add to it.
Okay, cool. So, what does it take to turn a food concept into a brand that people can truly connect with? That's something y'all have done. What does it take to do something like that?
It's gonna take a lot of work, dedication. It's gonna take staying down,
Yeah.
you know, because it ain't gonna be what you think it's gonna be from the jump. And you might get spurts, you might get little sparks, but it's not gonna be what you think it's gonna be. So I say one of the main things, just stand down, just keeping your faith strong, and just stand with it through the ups and the downs.
For sure. Commitment, that's always big. And I'm a spiritual woman too, so definitely God doing the guiding. But I think that's why I love this show and I like to be transparent because too many people get in front of cameras and just talk about all their success, you know, and it's like, you didn't just get like this overnight. Like, tell the people what's really going on so that they could properly prepare themselves if they want to start a business. It is commitment. There's going to be times where it's like, I know for y'all, I know for me, it's times I've wanted to quit. I probably quit every other day, but I just don't give up.
Right.
I'm going to just keep showing up. What about with y'all? Do y'all ever feel like, man, this is a
I ain't gonna lie
wrap?
to you. I think about quitting frequently because, you know, the devil gonna attack you in
Yeah.
many ways. He gonna attack you through people that you're close to. And it's like, but you know, I was raised in church and I stay in my word and I just understand once God then already promised me something, like he's already showed many times before in our life, he's gonna always come through. So you just gotta stand firm on his promises and he gonna see you through.
Amen. Boy, y'all preaching right here. All right. So, Trap Culinary Kitchen's already made waves. What's next?
Trap fit.
Traffic for sure.
And that's what y'all were talking about earlier with the meal prep and the physical part of it.
Correct.
Yes.
Transitioning, revolution, and progressing from internal tragedies. So like when we get into this right here, we want to like, I envision it as like an app. And like I say, we're gonna have counselors and like psychiatrists that studying different things that we go through in our Black community, such as just like drug addiction, abusive relationships, financial literacy, just things that just we need help with, and it's gonna all stem from Trap Fit.
Yep. Man, that's so amazing. And that goes to speak about collaborations, which I feel is a big part of scaling businesses. And sometimes in our culture, we don't want to do that. You know, we find a solid few and that's all. We don't want to collaborate with other people. We don't want to work with other people because we don't always have the best experiences. But when you do collaborate and get in alignment with the right people, it's go time, you know. And so the collaborations that y'all are doing with the therapists and the fitness people, that's big. That's amazing. Shout out to y'all. So, how do you see the future of food, culture, and experiences evolving in the next few years?
I have to say, like we going healthier. You know what I'm saying? Like one day we envision Trap Culinary being as big as Hard Rock Cafe.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I did my research on Hard Rock Cafe. They started off in London with two guys, just like me and my brother, and they started rubbing shoulders with truck drivers. That was their audience. Then they went from truck drivers to like the music. So that's pretty much what we're doing. You know, they say nothing is new under the sun.
Yep.
And history repeats itself. So I feel like God probably just taking us through those same steps again.
Man. I hope that the people who are watching this really take the time to really hear what y'all saying because y'all are spitting nothing but facts. And this is what we have to realize as business owners, that it's a process, man. It's a process and you just got to keep at it. So if you could revolutionize one thing in the food industry, what would it be?
Health.
Amen. For sure. Okay, so let's talk about legacy. Y'all have children?
Yeah.
For sure. So how important is it to have legacy and to lead by example when it comes to our youth?
This is one of the main reasons why I switched over was for my kids, because I've been in the game doing other things for a long time, and I really didn't have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Or I was doing it behind their back. And with this, I could just teach them life skills. Like my daughters, I could teach them how to be host and be sociable and and cook as well. And my son, he do the same thing. And it's just basically I could do something in front of them that I don't have to hide. I don't have to tell them, hey, you ain't see me do this or
Right.
none of that. Just living my life regret free.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to you. Do y'all see creating any programs or anything in the future that will teach youth or train them up or give them internship opportunities to work with you guys?
Yeah, most definitely. As far as like culinary, we had another plan. It's not fully structured, but just an idea we threw out there, like bringing kids from high school, like after school programs, or going to the schools with the equipment, teaching them how to cook, baking, and just like once they graduate, because we got a lot of connections in the food world, and just put them in restaurants or whatever they trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. We real big on the youth here. So we have youth programs. We try to teach them. We have something called create over consume. So technology is here and all of our children are glued to phones. And what my goal is to teach them, instead of consuming all that content, let me teach you how to create it. My son, he believes he's a 15-year-old rapper. My daughter thinks she's the next Oprah, which she is. She's the next Joel for sure. But just really teaching them how to hone in on what they feel their natural gifts are and giving them the game at a young age on how they can take their gifts and this is how you can monetize them. And this is how you can do what you love to do every single day. You don't have to be a football player or all the other ways. When we were younger, it was only a couple ways to make a lot of money. But in 2025, it's really whatever you want to do. You just got to find the right path. For sure. So 10 to 20 years, what do you want Trap Culinary Kitchen to be remembered for?
My opinion or how I feel in 20 years, I just want to be remembered for just the sacrifices and the hard work and dedication we put in and just steady staying consistent when a lot of doors weren't open just right away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what we trying to build is something that we can leave after we pass away. So it might take a lifetime building it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And it's great to understand that. I think that's something we don't do as business owners, like understanding what the end goal is. Like even what I'm doing here at Community Cultivation Network, I see this being a global media company. I might not be around when it happens, but that's the end goal, And so I just have to focus on doing my part and what God led me to do right now in 2025. So I think that's real big. When people hear Trap Culinary Kitchen, what do you want to come to their mind? What is the feeling you want them to have?
When they come to Trap Culinary Kitchen, I really want them to feel like we the hope. We I'm not just gonna say pioneers, but we just did something that a lot of people wouldn't do, and that's what I want them to think. I mean, they did something they didn't do, and they made something out of it. Did good with it.
For sure. What about you?
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with my brother. Just like being a symbol of hope in our community, for our culture, that like we had the courage to take a leap and make that transition and change and sacrifice the life that we have for the life that God had for us.
For sure, for sure. And one thing that I want to highlight that I just think is very important for our culture and for just black men. Y'all are two black men that have come together to make this happen. And that doesn't happen a lot. So how were y'all able to do that? And why did it work?
I feel like it works because honestly, me and my brother, we just some real players. You know what I'm saying? And we don't
I
hate
love
on
it.
each other. Yeah, I want to see my brother shine. I love to see people congratulating him. I love to see women in his face giving him money, telling him you got the best food in the city. Like I love seeing that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
And then we sit back down, we laughing, we joking, we criticize each other how we can be better. You know what I'm saying? How we can be better brothers, how we can be better leaders, teammates, and we just trying to set the tone for the people who trying to get in the game.
I love that. You got anything you want to add to that?
He summed it up.
For sure. And so another thing when it comes to business, period, but definitely in our community and with Black men, is mental health. So what do y'all do for self-care? How do y'all keep your mental health well, and how do y'all stay in a positive mindset when it seems like the world is against you?
Pray.
Amen. For sure. For sure. Okay, well, before I kind of close out this conversation, which has been a very great conversation, inspiring to me, is there anything that y'all want to share with the people? Any other upcoming projects? Anything that people need to know about y'all individually or Trap Culinary Kitchen?
I'm going to just say summer 2025, we're going to be outside at a lot of pool parties, a lot of festivals, from the reggae festival to just a lot of different things. So, just follow us on Instagram at Trap Culinary Kitchen and just stay tuned, man. We got a lot of great things coming.
Definitely. Anything to add to that, Nick?
Yeah, basically what my brother said. Y'all stay tuned. We got a lot for y'all coming up. Just be ready for us.
Definitely. Well, as y'all know, this has been an incredible conversation, very inspiring to hear their journey, their vision, and their story, and all that they want to do for the community and for themselves, the legacy that's being built, and the example that they're setting for business and for Black men in business. So if you find this conversation inspiring, you feel like you got good information for it, make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. Definitely check my boys out, Trap Culinary Kitchen on Instagram. We're going to make sure we do an event where we could get them here at Community Cultivation Network so we could get some of that good old food. But thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another great episode of Business Talks with Jazmin J, where we talk all things business, the good, the bad, the ugly, the successes, the wins. Check us out next time. Peace.